I've recently acquired Boris FX Title Studio and I've set about getting to grips with it. After seeing how feature-packed it was, I decided to produce a series of tutorials about it. This is the first episode in that series. It's a very powerful and complex plugin, but don't be daunted by that fact. It installs with a large number of title presets which can be applied quickly and simply. If you don't want to, you don't need to use any of its powerful features to get your timeline populated with lower thirds and titles. The plugin UI is very simple, allowing you to quickly create your title and make simple changes to it. To supplement this, the FX browser allows changes to be made to the default title text, the title length, and an opportunity to browse the many presets available. For the more adventurous, the main UI can be launched, which allows all the complex features to be accessed. In this episode, I simply want to concentrate on the plugin UI. I'll show how easy it is to create professional-looking titles and lower thirds. I'll also show how basic modifications can be made to the titles without opening the main UI. The normal way of using Title Studio is to apply it as a video event effect. But if you're a Vegas Pro or Movie Studio Platinum user, I'll also demonstrate how to apply the plugin to an empty event. This creates a text event that you can place on a track above your video event, effectively making it behave like a Vegas titles and text media event. Using it this way makes multi-title management so much easier. Welcome to my 50th tutorial. Before I start, I'll assume that Title Studio has been installed correctly. If it has, it should appear in the left-hand column of the Video Effects window. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to apply the plugin to an image event. This will launch the plugin UI. The UI consists of 4 sections. The UI header. This simply displays the name of the video event to which the plugin is applied. The plugin chain. This displays a list of plugins that are applied to the event, starting with pan crop, which will always be there. Plugins can be reordered as required by dragging into a new position in the chain and can be disabled by clicking the small box to the left of the plugin name. The preset drop-down list. As there are 2 preset lists in this UI, I'll refer to this one as the custom preset list. This displays a list of any custom presets you may have saved. Custom presets are saved by typing a suitable name in the preset field, then clicking the floppy disk icon. You can also delete a custom preset by clicking the X at the side of the floppy disk icon. Note that this will only remove the preset from the field when another preset is chosen. Due to the way custom presets are saved, they are normally only available using this drop-down list. I say normally because there is a way of making them appear in the main preset list as well. The procedure is a little involved, so I want to leave that until the next tutorial. I'll also describe how to reorganize the main preset list so that your custom presets appear where you want them to in the list. The parameter section. The license button. Selecting this button will display various details about all your licenses. The two main options in this display allow you to deactivate or activate individual licenses. The Launch UI window button, when selected, will display the main Title Studio UI. This is where you will discover the more advanced features. We won't go there yet. The FX browser. Selecting this opens the FX browser window. This is where you can change the default text string to your own. I'll be dealing briefly with this UI a little later on. Preferences. The options in this window are for a more advanced user, so are best left alone. The preset list. As mentioned previously, because there are two preset lists in this UI, I'll call this the main preset list. By default, this will show no preset. Clicking the drop-down arrow will display a long list of pre-designed presets. Selecting a preset will apply it to the video event. Be aware that some of the presets are animated, so they may not appear in the preview pane at the start of the event. I suggest that you don't select your preset here. I'll tell you why a little later. At the top of the list is a Load and a Save option. I need to leave the usage of these two options until I deal with organizing custom presets in the next tutorial. The next three checkbox options are grayed out, and I won't be dealing with those here. The fourth checkbox enables the parameters in the Transformations drop-down section. Transformations. This section contains 10 parameters that allow the title to be manipulated in various ways. I'll deal with this section shortly. Composite. Clicking the drop-down arrow reveals 4 options for applying composite modes to the title and for modifying any composite mode applied. Compositing is way beyond the scope of this tutorial, so all I'll say about this section is this. By default, the composite apply mode is set to none. With this setting, compositing will be inactive. In other words, the title background will be black, as you will have noticed. If you want to view the title overlaid onto the video event, you must change the composite mode to normal. Depending on the title, there may be a slight delay before the video event appears in the preview window. If, however, the title has been applied to an empty event, with a video event on the track below, the compositing mode is irrelevant, so needn't be changed. I'll deal with this situation later on. As mentioned earlier, the Transformations drop-down arrow reveals 10 parameters for manipulating the title. These parameters are grayed out until enabled by selecting the Use Transformations checkbox. You'll notice that when Transformations is enabled, a crosshair will appear in the middle of the preview window. Clicking and dragging this crosshair will allow you to make coarse adjustments to the title position. Note that if you uncheck the option, the title will revert to its original position. Let's look at the 10 parameters starting at the top. The position XY parameter basically performs the same function as the crosshair. Its drop-down arrow reveals a location box with a cross indicating the position of the center of the title. This parameter functions in a similar way to that in the Vegas Titles and Text Location Parameter section. I've described this functionality in many of my tutorials, so I won't elaborate on it here, except to say that double-clicking the crosshair will return it to its default position. The Position Z parameter allows the title to move in 3D space. The default value is 0, with maximum backwards and forwards values of +5 and -5. Double-clicking on the slider will return it to default. The Master Scale parameter allows the title scale to be changed proportionally. The default value is 100, with minimum and maximum values of 0 and 600 respectively. The next 3 sliders are for scaling the title in the 3 directions. Note that the Scale Z parameter only works with extruded text. The next 3 sliders are for rotating the title in 3 directions. The final parameter, Opacity, controls the visibility of the title. 0 is fully transparent, 100 is fully opaque. All the parameters can be keyframed by enabling their animate icons. This will display the keyframe controller at the bottom. I've dealt with keyframe animation in some of my tutorials. One thing that's been puzzling me about this plugin's basic user interface. It has all the features allowing the creation of a title, but there doesn't seem to be anywhere in this UI to allow you to change the default text string to that of your own. To change the text string, you have to launch the FX browser, and that seems odd to me. However, that seems to be the way that it is, so the workflow has to be modified to deal with that apparent fact. My advice would be to go straight to the FX browser UI from this UI and create your title there. The presets in the FX browser have thumbnails, so it's more convenient to select your desired preset there rather than in the basic UI. I don't want to go into detail about the FX browser UI in this tutorial. It warrants a tutorial on its own. What I will do is to show how the default text string can be changed to your own custom string. I'll also demonstrate how to browse through the preset thumbnails and apply one to your custom text. There's a limitation to how much can be done with your chosen title in this UI, but it can be a quick way to create one. To have full control of title modification, the Advanced Mode UI is where this is done. I'll leave this for another tutorial. With this UI open, you can browse through the many preset thumbnails to find a suitable one for your needs. Before selecting a preset, because the titles are animated, it's best to place the preview playhead at about the 2-second mark. Once selected, the preset will be shown in the preview window. To see any animation, click the play icon under the timeline of the preview window. As an example, I'll use this preset. With the chosen preset showing in the preview window, you can highlight the default text in the text input window and type your own text string. You now need to click the Insert Text button. Depending upon the length of the video event, the in and out points can be modified to allow the title to play at a specific point in the event. Click the Apply button and the UI will return to the host UI. If required, you can then use the Transformations section in the basic UI to move the title within the preview window. I'll now save this title as a preset. As I mentioned and I've demonstrated earlier, the conventional way of using Title Studio is to apply the plugin as an event effects to the video event it is to describe. However, this method has certain limitations. If your intention is to create multiple lower thirds for a project, and you're using Vegas Pro or Movie Studio Platinum, it can be much more productive to apply the effect to an empty event. This empty event, which has now become a title event, can then be copied multiple times to populate your timeline. All that needs doing then is to open the plugin on each title event and use the FX browser to change the text strings to appropriate ones. Notice what I didn't do there. I didn't click Insert Text. Done it again. Finally, I can go through the titles, adjusting the lengths to suit. I'll leave it there for this tutorial. I think I've covered enough to get you started on creating your own titles and lower thirds. Join me for episode 2, where I'll delve deeper into the FX Browser UI. Thanks for watching, and if you found it useful, please consider subscribing. Until the next time, bye for now.